The woods had always been silent at night, quiet enough for Claire to hear the faint rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. But lately, something unnatural had taken up residence there. A slow, creeping presence that bit into the stillness, clawing its way closer every evening. Claire's small farmhouse sat at the edge of the forest, surrounded by rolling fields and the occasional cluster of trees. For years, she had lived here in solitary peace, the only neighbor miles away. Yet, as autumn deepened and the nights grew longer, an oppressive sense of dread wrapped around the place like a suffocating fog. It began with faint noises, the scrape of a branch against her window, a soft thud outside the door. At first, she'd tell herself it was the wind or a roaming animal, but the sounds grew more deliberate. Strange scratches, low growls almost too soft to hear, and footsteps that circled the house at midnight like a predator stalking prey. Sleep abandoned her. Each creak in the rafters made her heart bolt. Her dog whined nervously by the door, refusing to enter the forest. And then came the nightmares. Visions of a hulking creature with shadowed limbs slicked in mud, glowing eyes burning cold in the dark, feeding not on flesh but on fear itself. Claire kept watch for weeks, clutching a flashlight and kitchen knife whenever the night deepened. One evening, through the thinning fog, she glimpsed it, a grotesque silhouette slipping between the trees. It vanished before she could blink, leaving behind a chilling silence that screamed in her ears. Daylight brought no comfort. The townsfolk whispered of other losses, cattle gone missing, eerie sounds heard near the woodland edge. Claire sought the help of her closest neighbors, a small group of weary farmers steeled by years of hard living. Together, they formed a plan to confront the terror lingering at their doorstep. They followed the telltale signs, twisted branches, flattened undergrowth, and faint unnatural footprints leading deeper into the forest. Their breaths puffed white in the cold morning air, mingling with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. The woods tightened around them like a winding maze, swallowing sounds and distorting distance. Hours later, they found it. A cave nestled in the roots of an ancient oak, the entrance gaping like a wound in the forest floor. A rancid stench seeped from its depths, a foul mixture of rot and blood that turned their stomachs. Inside, faint echoes whispered back, a chorus of agonized growls and guttural chants meant to unnerve. With torches and determination, they ignited a fire at the cave's entrance, flames licking hungrily around the darkness. The creature's screams pierced the air, a chilling symphony of rage and pain. They watched as the black smoke poured from the cave mouth, thinking the nightmare was ending. But peace was a thin veil. Weeks later, under a bruised sky, the farmers found fresh tracks trailing from their fields. One by one, cattle vanished, dragged quietly into the night. Claire's nights filled again with the soft, creeping sounds, closer, bolder, hungrier. It was rebuilding, resurging from ashes and shadows, feeding on the very fear it had sown. The woods no longer felt wild. They felt alive with hunger and waiting. Claire stared into the darkness beyond her porch, the cold wrapping tighter around her bones. Somewhere out there, eyes watched and waited, craving the terror that only fear could feed. The creature was coming back, and with it, the nightmare was far from over.